Hello and welcome to episode 78 of Shared Discovery, the show and podcast dedicated to sharing the many exciting and enjoyable aspects of games and gaming. I'm your host, Victor, and once again I'm joined by my returning co-host, Andrew. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
It's good.
It's been
a few episodes, and you are back to me. You brought me the episode topic today. You wrote these show notes, and you said, and you took the lead. So what are we talking about today?
Today we are talking about a game I played recently and fell completely in love with, Cyberpunk 2077.
Okay. Recent. This game has been in the works for a long time, and you've played it recently. So we're going to talk about your current experience, and we're going to compare it to the release experiences people had. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm seeing here, we're kind of going to dive into what it looks like to revive a game.
Yes.
Okay. Very cool. What have you been playing lately since you've been on the show? Just Cyberpunk?
Cyberpunk,
okay.
Marvel Rivals.
Nice.
I know you have also been playing a bit.
Marvel Rivals.
Let's see. Genshin Impact.
Okay.
I've been playing a lot of Genshin. A lot of Pokemon Go.
Nice.
Like, surprising amount of
Pokemon Go is surprisingly still super popular. I saw a video recently that there is a monthly player base of still 115 million people playing the game, which is crazy.
That checks out.
Which is awesome. That is really cool.
I want to see the highest concurrent players at once.
The highest concurrent players peaked in 2016.
That is true.
238 million. I don't know if that's concurrent, but yeah, it's something stupid like that. That's cool. That's really fun. I have, you know me, been playing RuneScape.
Obviously.
I crafted 28,000 staffs to level 12 times in crafting. That took a little bit each day.
Insane.
No, that's normal. That's not even sweaty in that game.
Related to that, I've been playing Hypixel a lot still. Hypixel is the Minecraft server.
Cool.
So.
All right. So, I haven't not played Cyberpunk, but I did watch some videos. I got some reviews. So you're going to be teaching me as well as the audience today. And for those listeners out there, if they want to watch this episode, especially they should watch this episode today because we got something really interesting. Yes. Tell them where they can watch this and tell them what they would see.
You can go on YouTube and watch this at the BCTV, on BCTV's channel. And why you would want to watch it here is because we have our green screen.
Yes, this is super exciting. You thought of this.
Yes.
So, and on this green screen, what do they see?
You are seeing street level of Night City.
That is really cool. I saw that really clever.
With screenshots that I took in-game myself.
That's really
2 days ago, but still.
Talk about immersion. We'll be talking about as we get into this review and this deep dive. But yeah, we're just living in Night City for this episode. How cool is that?
We're not appropriately dressed for it, but
No, we're not cool enough. We're not punk enough. I think Anna could fit that role, not us. I don't think we're cool enough. Yeah. But, maybe that's part of the immersion. Maybe we get taunted and made fun of and mugged, and that's Night City for you. And if you want to tell us your favorite part of Cyberpunk 2077 and your experiences with the games before and after all of the updates and what you like about it, you can do that at shareddiscoveryshow@gmail.com. Also, I forgot to mention, on YouTube, you want to check out our D&D gameplays.
Yes.
So recently, we've been switching things up. I've been doing a little bit of DMing. So the next episode from now, we're actually going to have a one-shot.
Yes, I'm not in it.
You're not? You were busy.
Because I was learning how to drive.
But you'll be seeing a lot more of me DMing, and check that out. We have, I think, 20 episodes of D&D over the course of our 82 episodes at this point.
Yeah.
And so check those out. They're always super fun. Okay, you have an intro question for me. What are we talking about?
And for the audience.
Yes.
What is your favorite game revival/salvage story?
Okay, describe that to me. What is a revival salvage story?
That is when a game comes out and it is horrible, or it comes out and it's great, and then it drops down and it's horrible again, and it's horrible. But then in both scenarios, it will come back. It will come back to being very popular and good.
I see.
In a sense.
Okay, so for whatever reason, the game came out in a state that wasn't promised.
Yes.
But over the years, they were able to fix it.
Yes.
Okay, so we're going to keep that in mind as we go through the episode of what they did right to revive Cyberpunk 2027, which tells you something right out of the gate. The game needed to be revived. It needed to be salvaged.
Very much so.
So you're saying this is your favorite?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's just such a fun story to learn about, and I watched a full 30-minute video on the whole thing, and it was like, oh yeah, this oof.
Oh, on the history, of the process of the release of the game.
And it made me learn some actual things about the game, which we will get into.
Okay, awesome. For me, when I hear revival and salvage story, I immediately think of No Man's Sky. Because No Man's Sky promised the sky.
Yeah.
They promised everything. They literally went on talk shows saying, you'll be able to go anywhere. You'll be able to go to trillions of planets, procedurally generated planets. And it couldn't live up to the expectations that they had. But over the years, they're pretty close to that expectation they set back in 2014, I believe. Something crazy like that.
When did that come out?
Around then, the 2015, 2014.
Really?
And they've just been
they made the claim and then...
And I saw a trailer for the game, it looks like what they were talking about back a decade ago.
Sweet.
And so we'll get into that. We'll get into the pieces of what makes a good revival and how to regain the trust from your players. Yes. But today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. So tell me the origins of this game.
So the story originated with a tabletop RPG made in 1988.
Oh, that's so cool.
And the story takes place in the futuristic year of 2013.
Don't you love when they do that? It's
yeah.
So when we catch up.
Yeah, like Back to the Future. Yeah. With a second edition taking place in 2020, released in 1990, and a third edition released in 2020, actually.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Nice. And so this RPG, this role-playing game, this tabletop RPG, set the world building for what Cyberpunk 2077 is.
It actually had Johnny Silverhand in
really?
it, which is one of the main characters in the actual game.
So they took a lot of the base stories that were in that role-playing game and expanded it to the video game.
Yeah.
Or worked them into it.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. That's really cool. I hadn't heard about that. Now, when I think of the Cyberpunk aesthetic, I immediately think of Blade Runner. Is there any connection between...
I don't actually know.
Okay.
I don't know if Blade Runner came out before. The original Blade Runner came out before, but there's a good chance.
That might be the genre. Maybe that's the inspiration, or maybe vice versa, but that's kind of what I think of, that dark, gritty, dystopian future where cybernetics merge with people. Yeah. And so that's really cool.
There's actually a movie called Upgrade. It's very similar to that.
Nice.
And it's actually really good.
Okay, so that fits within that culture, but we don't know if they're similar.
Yes.
When did we first hear about the video game?
It was originally announced in 2012 with 2012. Yeah. With hey, we're just gonna make this game. Here's a look at what it could look like.
And I remember that trailer blew everyone's mind.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
Because there's a lot of trust for this company. CD Projekt Red
made The Witcher.
Right. Highly praised. Witcher 3 is highly praised as one of the best games, period.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of really high expectations that came with this trailer.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the first actual trailer was released at E3, rest in peace, in 2013. And a second trailer, also at E3, presented by Keanu Reeves in 2018.
So I'm getting a trend here. 2018, we're getting another trailer, but the first little teaser announcement was 2012?
Yes.
That's 6 years.
Wait,
what happened? 6 years? But I've been wanting to play this game.
Yeah.
It was promised to me. It's like The Witcher. It's from the developers of The Witcher. I trust them.
Yeah. We trust them.
2018.
After plenty of delays, the game finally was released in December of 2020 to
8 years.
yes,
Wow.
to
That must be a good game after 8 years.
interesting reviews.
Uh-oh. You're telling me after 8 years I couldn't get it together?
Yeah.
So read me this review. I want to hear what people thought back in 2020.
This is from Shade Slayer. And this is on Steam. It was posted December 28th of 2020.
Okay.
So, a few weeks after the game had come out. All in all, as someone who considers The Witcher 3 the best single-player game of all time, I'm deeply disappointed by what Cyberpunk turned out to be. The further I progressed in the game and the more I played with its systems, or a lack thereof, the more apparent it was that most of the budget and development time went into the scripted quests, while basically all other elements were left criminally underdeveloped. CD Projekt Red turned from the golden sun of gaming to worse than Bethesda overnight. Seeing how they on purpose lied about many aspects and systems of the game that never actually made it. Even in a basic form. Not to even mention the bugs nor the console situation.
Ooh, okay. What do they mean by the console situation?
The console, first, Xbox One and PlayStation 4. Those were like the high-end consoles at the time.
Sure.
Could not play this game at all.
They just couldn't handle it. So you had to play in computer.
Or when they released the next gen.
I see. So the PS5.
Xbox S, Xbox X.
Wow.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so after 8 years, the game comes out. It's not playable. They don't have the features that were promised. It's a buggy mess. And the only redeemable feature is the story.
Pretty much.
Wow. That hurts. Because I don't know if you played The Witcher. Beautiful game. Very smooth. It's just wonderful. It's a wonderful game that mechanically, the story is really good.
That's why they turned it into a TV show.
And it worked really well, right?
Until it didn't. But
Ooh, that's painful. That is a painful review. So 2020. It comes out, and I'm assuming there are a lot of reviews like this. It was mostly negative reviews on Steam, right?
Overwhelmingly negative.
Overwhelmingly negative. You don't hear that often. Like, that's down in the dumps. That's
Overwatch 2 levels of bad.
That's like over 80% of people said this game is bad.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so what went wrong then?
Even before the release, people had some concerns.
Sure.
Parts of those concerns came from the fact that they didn't have any actual gameplay footage, even in early to mid 2020.
Red flags.
Or at least no gameplay that didn't have any asterisks next to it that were made to look better for trailers.
Not actual gameplay, trailer gameplay, something like that you see at the bottom.
All gameplay we had was enhanced for trailers and reviewers to show in their videos. And even the reviewers weren't allowed to show their own actual footage of the game, which is a huge red flag.
Oh man, the siren's going off in my head. Oh no.
When a reviewer's not allowed to show anything of the game, that's never a good sign.
If the developer doesn't have faith in their product, why do I have faith?
Why would I have any faith?
Ooh, that's scary. I didn't know that.
Yeah. When the game finally released, we realized why we hadn't seen any real gameplay. The game was a buggy mess.
Sure.
Textures were all wonk, the animations sometimes didn't exist, and anything that could move would sometimes not collide with anything at all.
Broken physics. What's one of your favorite bugs that you've seen?
I haven't really experienced many.
So you didn't go back and watch footage of
I did watch a little, and just cars, when they're supposed to be going up on an incline, just going
through the incline. Okay. I saw one in the video yesterday. The shadow of your character your arms got completely tiny as you're running, and they did this. They stopped like moving normally. They just got like tiny little sticks. That was the one that I thought was really funny. Okay.
But yeah. And one of the big things people complained about were the crowds were much smaller than promised. And even shown to us in trailers.
Okay.
The crowds were shown to be very big. And that wasn't all the things that they promised but didn't deliver, unfortunately.
So lying.
Yes.
Lying. So it becomes lying when you don't meet your expectation, or you don't lower the expectations, or set expectations correctly with the asterisks that you talked about.
Yes. Set reasonable expectations for your game.
And so I think like, there's a lot of trailers that will say not actual gameplay footage.
Yes.
Right? Only trailer footage. And that can save a lot of heartache for people. Right?
Yeah.
Okay. Broken mess that didn't... It wasn't what they saw.
Yeah, it wasn't what
I'd be
were
mad.
excited.
I'd be
Yeah,
mad.
definitely.
And especially after 8 years of waiting.
Yeah, there were some people who saw the game's state and were like, even if I fix it, I'm never playing this.
Yeah.
Which sucks because it's so good.
Yeah, I was reading reviews and watching some videos yesterday to familiarize myself with the game. And a lot of the reviews that people that really love the game now, what it is, are frustrated because some people can't move past that legacy that the game built of the release.
Which I can understand a little.
Of course there's going to be wariness after 8 years of promises and broken mess and lies, right? Of course you're going to be wary, but
Yeah.
maybe we'll talk about why you should give it a shot today.
Oh yeah, you should. Turns out that the devs had a lot of issues getting the game to be at all good before the release, even though they pushed it back like 8 times.
Yikes.
8 times,
Yikes.
people. It's around that number. I don't know the exact number.
I mean, it was 8 years. Push it back once every year, right?
No, they weren't even like in 2020. All those pushbacks were in 2020.
Oh.
Yeah. So
It sounds like they were trying. It sounds like they had this idea in the works. Where this is a game we want to make. But to do that, we have to get people interested, even though we don't think we're ready. And so we're going to put out some trailers.
a big part of this was the guy who originally made the tabletop RPG trusted them. Because he had not let anyone touch his IP.
Wow.
Until CD Projekt Red approached him.
Wow.
So
Oh, that hurts even more when the creator is like, you have a good resume. I trust you. I haven't trusted
I trust you.
I don't trust EA, but I trust you.
EA is not trustworthy, people.
Oh, wow. That hurts. That hurts to let down the creator, too.
Yeah.
I didn't know that piece.
This was most likely due to the fact that they didn't have good time management, multiple creative differences within the team, and a few different instances of layoffs, because of course.
Why does that feel super relevant to the game's story? That, like,
Yeah.
isn't the game about taking down corporations that do bad things? Right, so it makes you think, like, where the game is now. It makes you feel like it's not the developer's fault, right? It rarely is. It's the management's fault. And it seems that is the case, especially when there are clashing ideas of what the game wants to be, and and then the corporation at the top is like, you're not making money. Get out of here.
Yeah, that's how you get all these people living on the street in
right
this
behind
area.
us here. Yeah.
All of these guys.
That's fun. Okay, so it was dead.
It was dead. It was dead.
Like, you think when you have those reviews, overwhelmingly negative, a game is dead, just permanent.
Concord. Anyway.
A lot of games don't recover from this, so what happened?
Basically, CD Projekt Red grabbed the Revivify diamond and casted Revivify.
What? D&D reference?
D&D.
What? That's actually really meta, since this game is based on a tabletop RPG.
Yeah.
Wow, there's layers to that joke. So they revived it using a Revivify spell.
Yes.
How so? What happened?
After a few years and many updates, the game became actually playable. Like, they fixed many of the major bugs.
Okay.
Finally.
No tiny arms anymore?
That might still happen. I don't know.
That'd be funny.
And people started to realize that the game was actually incredible. They realized that the story was actually, like, really good, and the gameplay was starting to match that level.
Okay.
I still don't think it's quite there, but if they update it even more...
So you're saying the story is by far the best, and you're waiting for the game. You don't know if the gameplay will ever match the quality of the story.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although some of the mechanics are actually really fun. So,
Okay.
Once a game with overwhelmingly negative review... overwhelmingly negative review score on Steam. It now has the 49th highest concurrent player count on Steam as of writing this. This was like a few weeks ago. An 86 on Metacritic.
There's a lot of games on Steam.
And a 9 from IGN.
That's crazy. And before the episode, we looked up some reviews. What are current reviews? And if at the time if you use all of the reviews, even the ones the review bomb at the beginning that were deserved, it's still 85% total, which is most like it's just largely positive.
One of the highest rated.
But if you look at only recent reviews, it's overwhelmingly positive with
95.
Yeah. And so I got a good review here from today.
Yes.
Pi Day. March.
It is Pi Day. I forgot about that.
Yeah. March 14th, 2025. And just as a juxtaposition of the review that you read, the really frustrated person, right? So this person says, Kissinger says, Night City is stunning. Point behind to green screen. The characters are deep and the story hits hard. Side quests are top tier sometimes, even better than the main plot of many other games. The atmosphere pulls you in and the world feels alive. There are some minor bugs, but nothing deal-breaking. If you love RPGs, this one is a must.
Yeah.
And this speaks a lot, just like so much, because minor bugs.
Minor bugs.
That's what the game has become. That is what the revival process said. Is this to me, this right here, this review summarizes very succinctly what was promised to people in the beginning.
Yeah.
With those trailers, with that gameplay. This is the experience that we want you to have, and they did that.
Yeah.
That's so cool. And it's crazy to me. There's just some minor bugs. Every game has minor bugs, and it went from to like a swarm pit, to just like some ladybugs crawling on the wall. Just some minor bugs.
Yeah, there's a few over there.
Yeah. Wow.
A few over there.
That's huge.
Yeah.
It's 5 years they made this difference to the games. Honestly, when you hear reviews like this, is it even the same game anymore?
After comparing the reviews, not really.
Yeah. Okay, so we know that it revived itself. What do you think the key features for reviving it was?
The devs actually taking the time to say, oh, we made a mistake. We need to fix this because there were so many people counting on us to make this game good.
Okay.
And we have to fulfill.
Okay.
Even if we don't get everything we promised.
So, honesty, follow through, humbleness.
Yes.
Yeah, those seem like the keys here because it seems like there's a lot of bad faith still. There's a lot of concerns with CD Projekt Red. But when any review that I've read that people have actually played the game, got past the bad reviews of 2020, they're like, this is a game of a genre.
Yeah,
like,
I love CD Projekt Red because they managed to fix this.
So they rebuilt their trust by rebuilding the game.
Yes, and you can definitely tell they're not an American company.
How so?
They admitted they were wrong. Look at all the game companies in America. Even like Sony is like...
Yeah, I love that. That's good. They admitted they were wrong.
They knew.
So they're not Japanese and they're not American. Look at that. Okay, we've been talking about how it revived itself. We know the features of a good revival.
Yes.
Humbling yourself, admitting your mistakes. This sounds like therapy.
And we will talk about this more. I do really want to talk about this.
What is the game?
What is a Cyberpunk 2077?
Yeah, what is this? Tell me.
Cyberpunk 2077 is an open-world RPG that takes place in Night City, California.
Okay, and that was my first question. It's like, what is this? Where is it located?
Yes, it is in California.
Okay.
And you play as V, a self-insert character.
Sure.
And they can either be male or female.
Okay.
And you can customize them to your heart's content.
You can customize everything.
Everything.
And I mean everything.
It's
a really good character creator.
It felt like the Baldur's Gate 3
really deep.
character. Yes. Yeah. Not as deep.
Okay.
But very close.
Okay. That's really cool. And so, spoilers, I guess they're watching the episode. They know spoilers, but I think this is the point where we're going to get into a lot more spoilers.
Yes. I don't want to spoil, like, the whole game.
Whole plot, but, like, we're going to spoil the beginning. We're going to spoil the main plot line. Like, not the main, like, payoffs, but, like, story threads.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Where you start out.
Well, yeah.
All right, lay it on me.
You can pick one of 3 life paths when you first boot up a new save file.
Okay.
Street Kid, where you used to live in Night City. I think you moved to like Atlanta or someplace like that, and then and now you have returned. Okay. Nomad, where you left your nomad tribe, and now you're looking for a fresh start in Night City. Mm-hmm. And Corpo, where you are fired from your comfy job.
Get that one.
You're fired from your comfy job at Arasaka.
Wait, say that again? Alaska?
Arasaka.
That's the evil corporation we've been talking about? Okay.
Yes. And all these life paths, with all these life paths, they give you different opening chapters, like start of the opening chapters, and different dialogue options throughout the game. And don't really change the story in big ways, but you get, like, different interactions with this, different interactions with this.
Yeah, what I was seeing is, too, like, depending on the path, you might, like, get discounts or different chat options, or it might be easier to persuade someone for something.
Yeah.
Things like that.
Like,
but the main overarching plot, like, the big umbrella plot isn't going to change too much from these? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, Street Kid, you're able to intimidate people a little bit more.
Okay.
I believe Corpo, you can probably, like, talk your way out of situations more, because you're used to doing corporate stuff.
Okay. Did you choose the Nomad?
I picked Street Kid.
Okay.
Because I was like, I even looked up, like, which one's the best one to start off with. Because I was leaning towards Street Kid. And it was like Nomad. And I'm like, do I really want to...
The best? What do you mean by that? Because in a game like this, it means, like, to me...
The best one for a new player.
Okay.
Like, brand new to the game.
So why would that be best for the new player?
I don't know. I didn't look any further than...
Because to me, it seems like these little bit. Maybe you just get like an advantage in certain pretty important persuasions or something. Okay, cool. All right, so you pick one of these options. Then what happens?
No matter which one you choose, you meet Jackie.
Okay.
A gun for hire who wants to make it big in Night City. He's lived here his entire life.
Okay.
And months later, and you become very close friends with him.
Sure.
Months later, you are known as a gun for hire, and you take a big job to steal a very expensive relic.
So Jackie takes you under his wing.
Kinda.
Okay.
You join his crew, basically.
I see.
And you get a big job to steal a very expensive relic from this rich guy who happens to be the son of the leader of Arasaka.
Plot. Whoa, that's big plot.
But predictably, things kind of got wrong.
Okay.
And you have to save this relic by inserting it into your neural interface.
Okay.
And
that's a normal thing.
Yeah, everyone in Night City has cybernetic enhancements.
Okay.
That's a big part of it.
So what you said, there's a neural link?
Like right around here.
Around your earlobe?
It's basically a spot to put an SD card.
Oh, okay.
Like, that's basically what it is.
And what does that allow you to, like, download information and stuff?
Yeah, basically.
Okay.
And...
Are there any unaltered people?
No.
Wow.
But there is someone who is altered to the point where they're basically not human anymore.
So the opposite, like the other extreme.
Yeah.
Wow.
Adam Savage.
That's
not
crazy.
Adam Savage. Adam Smasher. Sorry.
Wow.
not the Mythbuster.
That's crazy. Okay. Cool.
But now it's in you, and you have the consciousness of a dead terrorist in your head. Johnny Silverhand.
Keanu
Reeves, everyone.
Okay.
Which is actually like such a good part of the game because you get to listen to Keanu Reeves.
That is really cool. And what I was seeing is like he gets better and more endearing on multiple playthroughs. And what I've been seeing is this game actually rewards a lot of more playthroughs. Interesting. Okay. He's in your head. Forget a terrorist.
And if you take the relic out, you die.
Oh.
If you leave the relic in too long, you will also die.
Huh. Well, that's a catch-22 of death.
Yeah. And I don't want to spoil any more big plot stuff.
We won't. But that's the setup.
That's the setup. That's the setup. That is literally just the opening chapter.
Wow. How long does that opening chapter take? Like
it took me like 8 hours, but you could do it in an hour.
Oh, wow. You took your time with it, but that speaks to the depth of the game. You want to experience everything. You want to take your time. I
searched around. Like, I went to go grab a gun from... Because they added a lot of references to the anime that they made.
Yeah.
Cyberpunk Edge Runners.
Mm-hmm.
So good. I watched it a few years ago. Almost made me cry.
Wow.
There's only 10 episodes. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. I mean it. Go...
So they tie in pretty well.
Yes. The anime takes place a year before.
Okay.
And the main character, David, you can actually get his jacket.
Oh, wow.
And another main character, Rebecca.
Is that spoilers? Why can you get his jacket?
I'm not saying anything. But Rebecca, another main character, Rebecca, you can also get her shotgun.
Oh,
and
cool.
you can go get that immediately.
Oh, really?
Like, seriously.
Oh, nice.
I searched up how you can get it, and I went to go get it.
Okay. So, the hook from the beginning, I'm already hooked. Like, this is already a very interesting world. You're pulled in from the aesthetic. You're pulled in from the get-go of this gritty world, these 3 life choices. And then from the begin, and then immediately once you get out of this tutorial, this prologue, you're already hit with some crazy plot lines of, I got this terrorist in my head. What does that mean? If I take this thing out of my head, I die. If I leave it too long, I die. And so the whole story... wherever it goes from here, you have this consistent thread that runs through the whole game.
And I will say, your end goal is what you're trying to do is figure out how to get this thing out and not die.
Seems logical.
Seems reasonable, right?
Yeah. So that's a very good hook. Like, I can see why all the reviews I was reading and all the videos I was watching is story. In fact, one of the reviews I read said that what they have found and what they've noticed is that people that enjoy this game are kind of the story readers or the movie buffs. They are there because the story is so engrossing.
So good.
Right?
But also the aesthetic,
the aesthetic, the feel of being there, it makes it super immersive. And if you like movies, you like stories unfolding, that's going to be there for you.
Oh, yeah.
But that also combines with the gameplay.
Yeah. It feels a lot like GTA.
Okay.
I will say that. It's very similar.
Okay.
You're committing a few crimes here and there. You're trying to make money.
So I haven't played a lot of GTA. So what do you say? What do you mean? Like, what are the mechanics that are similar? I guess, what is the core gameplay loop for Cyberpunk? What are you doing on a regular play session?
You're completing missions, whether that be main story missions, side quests, like little requests from like people who give out these jobs to Guns for Hire and stuff.
Okay, so kind of the open world, this template. You go, get a mission, do what that entails, and you keep going back and forth like that.
Another thing that it's like GTA, like, is you know how in GTA when you're doing your bad things you get stars, like wanted levels. The same thing is in this game.
Okay.
Like the exact same thing, which I actually kind of liked.
Nice. So it's like this sandbox criminal style shoot 'em.
But you're not trying to be the worst person in the world. You're just trying to survive.
It sounds like that's the framework of the game. Everyone's trying to survive in their own way. Okay, and so the gameplay, when you say that, it's a first-person shoot 'em up then.
Yes.
Okay.
And you're having a complete lack of like interest and respect for laws and safety and people. Like
That's why
you
we
don't
play
care
these
about
games,
them,
right?
but you're just trying to do what you have to do.
Okay, so I mean, that makes sense, right? We play games to do different things I play games to do different things than reality.
Yeah, you don't grind for magical items like you do in RuneScape.
No, I don't. No, I don't. That's work in real life. In real life, in RuneScape, that's fun. Numbers go burr. Dopamine.
Yeah, numbers go burr. But a lot of the gameplay is combat focused, obviously,
okay.
and there's a lot of talking to people, which I do like. Mm-hmm. So
it's a lot of the role-playing aspects come with the talking to the people, completing the mission, seeing the story unfold, and then the combat. What does that consist of?
You have a ton of weapon options. Like, your inventory is big, and then you have another inventory at your base, and you could just fill it with weapons.
So is it really customizable then? Like, you get to choose your playstyle?
Yes, actually.
Okay.
Like, you can use guns, you can use knives, you can use katanas for crying out loud.
Okay.
There's a giant hammer that you could just bonk people with.
And I saw that there was a stealth build too, so the game seems to reward people's like aggression to stealthiness, however you want to play.
Yeah, you can do stealth, or you could do stealth, where if there's no witnesses, you were never there.
I can get behind that. Okay.
Yeah, and there are special weapons. There are the rare ones, like that. Like Rebecca's weapon I was talking about, guts.
Okay.
And you put them up on your wall, basically, in your base, and it just looks so nice.
That's
it's
cool.
so clean.
Oh, you can customize your base a little bit?
Not really. There are multiple bases you can get.
I see. Okay, so that's
the limit of the customization for your base, but...
That's cool, though. Like,
and it's not really a base, it's apartments, but like...
It's a base. A base is a place you go back to.
Yeah.
Right? And so the types of weapons that you have listed here: rifles, SMGs, shotguns, sniper rifles, pistols, knives, bats, katana. Is there a barehanded build?
Yes, actually, I do have that as well.
That's cool.
When you complete the game, and this is not really a spoiler, not really, you get some, and you... Basically, it's like Breath of the Wild, where when you complete the story, it goes to right before.
Oh, a new game plus?
Yeah.
Okay.
You get gorilla arms. You get free gorilla arms, which are just... Your punches do a ton more damage
That's
now.
Fun. I love that. That's really cool. And so all this combat is used through the main story, and there's a skill system that I see.
Yes.
Like a skill tree.
It is very in-depth. You can kind of just... go with what you want to do.
Is there a skill, like in this tree, are there points and ways to put points into all of these different weapon styles and all of these different...
Yeah.
So like I could say, I'm going to look for all of the stuff that goes into knives and stuff.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Absolutely.
It's a super customizable gameplay.
Yeah.
As well as a fairly customizable story.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's really fun. So...
What is your main play style?
So I have guts still. When I grabbed it, I was like, I'm never never not using this thing.
So shotgun?
Okay. A really good pistol.
Okay.
It's actually Johnny's pistol.
Oh, nice.
And a katana.
Nice. It's the cyberpunk aesthetic. You gotta have a katana.
Or a katana or a certain knife that you could just throw and...
That's really cool. And so what I was also seeing is as you get these modifiers, it's like cybernetics on your body. Does it physically change your appearance?
Sometimes, yeah.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So, Especially when you go and look in the mirror and look at your character, the pause screen, you can actually sometimes see, depending on what you grabbed, you can actually see some of those.
That's really cool. So you said there was a character that just becomes mostly machine?
Yes, he is actually really old.
Oh,
like,
okay.
he was around in 2020.
The face of Bo.
Yeah, actually.
Oh, sorry. Doctor Who reference.
Yeah, but he was evil.
Okay.
If he was evil and decided to become full robot.
Okay.
His name is Adam Smasher. He is this just hulking figure. Yeah, he's terrifying.
Could you try to, like, get that many cybernetics in the game?
No.
Okay.
You cannot get to that point.
Not that point. You still got to tell a compelling story, and to do that, you still need humans, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Very cool. All right. Well, that seems super fun. I like that. I think I would definitely go for the knife and katana build. One of the weapons that I was seeing, like, you could get a knife embedded into your arm.
Oh, mantis. Like the mantis sword claws. Yeah,
arm,
those
like,
are...
opens up and you have blades.
Yeah, those are really fun.
That's sweet.
I mean, I haven't really used them, but there are also some, like, lasers that you can put in your arms, like your
nice.
Iron Man.
Oh, that's dope. How difficult would you say the game is? The combat.
When you get good weapons, you're pretty set.
Okay.
But earlier on, it can be quite difficult.
Sure.
Especially if you're not used to it. Like, I wasn't used to it.
Yeah.
But especially when there's just a ton of enemies all over the place. But, like, when I got to the final boss, I did it first try. Like,
Really? Okay. So you get pretty... God.
you get pretty stacked.
What I was seeing is that it actually, like, some games, it just is kind of a letdown to become God mode, but in this game, it feels deserved.
It feels
earned.
so nice.
Okay.
Especially when you're just using the iconic weapons. Like, you're just plowing through enemies at this point.
That's amazing.
One quest line I can think of is there are, like, 23 different spots around where there are what you call cyber psychos.
Okay.
They have put so many enhancements in their body that they've gone psychotic.
Oh, wow.
And they are just no care for anything, no care for anyone.
That...
I just want to break things and kill people and all that kind of stuff.
That's interesting.
And you're actually working with a detective to go out there, find these cyber psychos, and take them all down. And you get some pretty good rewards once you take them down. Them down.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun, these little side quests.
So immediately when I was watching stuff about the ideology and the gameplay, like the cybernetic aspect of the games, that Cyberpunk, BioShock came to mind.
Really?
Right? And so I think back to the first BioShock game, a lot of that game is the hubris of greed, right?
Yeah.
And then the addiction to a life-changing technology.
Yeah.
Right? And so in that game, they have the stims, they have the stuff, the magical medicine that you inject into yourself to give yourself powers, like fire, electricity. But the splicers in the game, it sounds similar to what you just described. When you get too much of that stim, you become addicted and you lose the sanity and you
lose your humanity.
What crazy? You lose your humanity a little bit. So that's immediately what came to mind as you were talking about that.
Yeah, there's so many different side quests that are like, yeah, these are really good things, but they can also hurt.
And so I guess that is a nice transition to the pros and cons. We like to do pros and cons for every game that we talk about. So let's go through this. What are some of the pros that you have?
This is such an amazing game with gorgeous graphics. Like, especially if you're on PC and you have just the highest end computer, you can turn like the thing on to have an AI make extra frames, so you're getting a higher frame rate.
Okay.
which just sounds so cool.
Yeah, that is
like
really
for
cool.
every frame, it makes 2 more. The AI makes 2 more frames.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, this game looks fantastic. The promise that they had to make this a living, breathing world, and what it sounds like to make it a representation of that tabletop RPG, like to be able to have a visual if you're going to play that RPG, that is what they lived up to.
Which we should play that. We should see if we can play that.
That is really a really cool idea. And so 9.5, 10 out of 10, whatever you want to say on graphics, fantastic. This is a breathing, livable world. And we did an episode on immersion.
Immersion.
Right? And there are different types of immersion. There is that sensory immersion where the sights and the sounds and what you're seeing that pulls you, and you have that story-based immersion, that imagine where you can envision yourself into the world, and then you also have that challenge-based immersion. These are the three types of immersion where the game physically and like challenges you and gets you engrossed in the game by being challenging. But with this game specifically, the sensory immersion,
I could say all three of those would work.
Exactly. And I think the two that really stand out to me is like talking about the graphics and the game forcing you to be in first person. That lends itself to you feeling like you're V and feeling like this world is real.
Yes, and if you have headphones on, you can hear everyone in a crowd talking.
Wow.
Like, seriously, it's so nice to just sit there and listen to all of what's going on.
That's so cool. So you can hear the individual conversation.
Yeah, the sound design is just
that is amazing. So
good.
And then if you go to that imaginative, believing that this is real, believing that this could happen, I believe this is a world.
Yeah, this is a world that could be our future.
I believe that there's a hyper greed and technology could take over to that point, right? It's like a cautionary tale. I believe in Johnny's rage.
Oh yeah, he context. We should probably give some context on that.
Yeah, so the person in your head, Johnny, the terrorist, gives him a little context.
Back in 2020. So 5 years ago, bombed Arasaka Tower.
Okay.
And he didn't, and this is a big tower, the tallest tower in Night City. Think Empire State Building.
When you say 2020, within the game world.
Within the game world.
Okay.
This didn't actually happen, people.
Okay. And so, is the game world, what's the current date in the game world?
2077.
Okay, so this happened like 50 years. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this wasn't a small building. So he was like, I want to destroy this whole building. So I'm just going to put a nuke down there and set it off.
So for some reason that will unfold during the story, he has it out for this corporation.
Yes.
And he goes to the extreme drastic measure of it just needs to be eradicated.
Yes.
Okay.
And that ends up costing him big time, but I'm not going to get into that.
Right.
But
so, back to that immersion, you can believe this character. Especially, like, the motion capture on Keanu Reeves is so good.
I believe Keanu Reeves.
I believe he's in my brain.
Yeah, that is just Keanu sitting there.
That's amazing.
Sure, he's saying very un-Keanu things, but, like...
You believe that this character is real, and you believe that he is a fully realized person, that the intentions make sense, even if they're radical.
Yeah, I could say that for Rogue, freaking River, what's her name? Pan Am. Who's the other one?
That was a lot of people were saying that's their favorite character.
Yeah, Judy's the other one. Yeah, all of them. They're such realized characters that you could definitely see them being real, like real people. But
which brings us to our next pro. Excellent story.
The storytelling in this game is top tier.
Back to what I was saying, and what a lot of people were saying is, I love those games that feel like watching a movie.
There are 4 romanceable characters, because of course you have to have romanceable characters.
Come on.
And River, Pan Am, Judy, and some other one. I don't remember his name. I don't think I ever interacted with him, which, yeah, you can just do that. You could just never see someone.
That's another playthrough option, right?
Yeah. But in those story quests, they're actually like really good. They feel like you're really getting to know this character. Like you actually get to enjoy learning about them, about their backstory. And when bad things happen, you can actually feel for them.
Yeah. And back to both of the reviews that we read, the 2020 review and the today review, the 2025 review, the first review said it within there. They spent most of their development time script writing.
Yes.
And that was upsetting to them because the game didn't function, right? The mechanical side wasn't there. But now you fast forward to this first review, this review that we had today, and they say some of the side quests are better than whole other game stories.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't say it's better than one side quest in Breath of the Wild, Tear Down, but
Sure.
I love the Tear Down.
Just the sentiment there is that they did spend so much love and care on writing these stories that did you skip many side quests?
I was more focused on others, but not really.
But you weren't upset doing the side quests, though.
No.
Right?
Weirdly enough, some games I just don't want to do side quests because I want to do my own thing. But this game made them actually interesting, especially with the rewards you get.
Yeah.
Like some of the icon weapons you can only get from certain side quests.
Okay, so they rewarded you not only with a compelling story, but mechanically with good rewards to help the combat. The next pro on the list.
Amazing gameplay. The combat mechanics are so refreshing, especially with other games like Fortnite.
Sure.
Like, yeah, that's good game. That's good combat mechanics. But when I went to this, I'm like, oh, this is really good.
This is a lot deeper.
There's a thing, another thing you with the new game plus, the Sendevistan.
Whoa.
It's
metal. Sounds metal.
It basically is a thing you put over in place of your spine.
Okay.
Yeah, and it allows you to slow down time for everything but you.
That's really cool.
And in actuality, it's just speeding you up to the point where, yeah.
So it makes you fast, but also allows you to cognitively handle it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there are some other ones that's like, whenever you start a combat encounter, slow down time for a brief second so that you can, like, oh, someone just ran up on me and coming to attack me. I have time to prepare now.
Sure.
I have time to pull out my weapon, which is actually really handy.
Slow, gives you a breather, gives you a pause. All right, back to combat. Very cool. And so the combat seems very fluid, very engaging. Right back to that challenge-based immersion. When combat kicks in, I'm sure you're locked in.
Yes.
Because if you're not, you're gonna
die.
You're gonna die.
Which, yeah, happened a few times with my playthrough. I will admit it.
That's okay.
But it happened
to be challenging.
It happened more earlier on.
You don't want, for me, I want a little bit of challenge. I don't want to just blow through a game. I could go on Minecraft creative mode.
Yeah.
But I don't want to do that, right? That's a different game. And so last thing I will say about pros that I really saw a lot is the introspection that comes with the story about the social commentary of our world. Right? There's a interesting socio-political commentary within the name, right? The cyber, right? And the punk. And so both of those aesthetics weave into the game, and you can see that play out throughout the story. Okay, what does it mean to take on this cybernetics into us? Are we losing our humanity? Are we losing our control? What have we become? Things like that. And then the punk side, the rebellion of like, I'm going to break away from this system. I'm going to blow up a building. So, right, that's that extreme, but you see it on
Which
all
you
this.
shouldn't do.
Don't do that, right? But you see that rebellion, that frustration, that being fed up with corporations feeding you, like literally all over the story. Back to that immersion, all over the world, ads.
Yeah.
Right. Be better. Be
You're
better.
seeing
be
all
better.
of this within just one city too.
One city, right? And so
think what could be going on in other cities. You don't actually learn about that. I mean, you learn a little bit about what's going on in Japan, but like, that's it. Mm-hmm. Night City is the focus.
Exactly.
You're just looking. Like, take the frame and just here.
Laser in and see, okay, in this city, what is this a reflection of within our society? And there's a lot of good depth there that could be a whole episode within itself.
There was a little bit, but it was only a little bit. But
just by zooming in on a
that's
city,
only if you pick the corpo path, actually.
and that's cool, right? And there are different endings out of that, different paths and different explorations that come from the.
I mean, I think it happens no matter what, but like you learn more about it if you pick corpo.
Cool. And so I just wanted to point that out. There's a lot more that a YouTube video, a thesis, an essay would get, video essay could dive into. But I was seeing a lot of people were really invested in the culture that is being represented there. So we do have to talk about cons.
Unfortunately, the first one I want to point out, I did not write it down, but some of the driving mechanics are just not the best. Like, I didn't really want to drive any cars.
I heard they're pretty janky.
Which kind of sucks because some of the cars are really good. You could buy a Porsche for crying out.
Oh,
it's the only like sponsored thing in the entire game.
Wow.
And it's a Porsche like
That's fantastic.
911, like 1911, something like that.
Okay.
And you just drive it around.
That's crazy. That's
And it actually belonged.
and when we
it,
say the driving sucks, it's not because of the optimization of the game, not buggy or anything. It's just like mechanically it feels bad to drive. It's not intuitive. The controls are really wonky on it, but it's not because the game's lagging.
unless it's a bike. I actually really enjoyed driving around on a
Motorcycles seem
bike.
pretty fun. I will say a con that I saw, that this isn't a con with the game itself, but this is just, some people don't like this aesthetic.
Oh yeah.
This, on the surface, this aesthetic is dark and depressing, and there's a lot of pain and a lot of violence that come with it, and
Which
a lot of dread, right? But when you dig deeper into that, there's a lot of hope behind the characters. They keep going, but I wanted to throw that out there because there's a lot of people that just say that aesthetic is too dark for me.
Yeah.
And I will say it is a very adult game, and on a lot of different plot lines. So keep that in mind as you play.
Yeah, there's some very adult things.
There's a lot of adult themes that come up.
Well,
from
themes and
violence
just things
to
in
other
general.
adult themes, right? So those are some of the cons that I saw. But the main ones have been fixed.
Yes. The devs, it took them a while to get it to a playable state.
But they're there. And it is honestly generation defining, the game that it is, and the situation surrounding the game of being able to heal and become what it is generation defining.
And it is still unplayable on last-gen consoles, unfortunately.
That is good to know. That is good to throw that out there. So don't try on the PS4.
Or the Xbox One, if you have an Xbox Series.
Or the Switch. They didn't put it on the side.
If you have an Xbox Series S, Xbox Series X, PlayStation 5, or a higher-end PC, you're good.
I'm not going to do it on a Chromebook.
You can play it on a Steam Deck, actually.
Oh, really?
And it
That's
actually just works there.
So in the last minute here, we'll ask really quickly. Let it rip.
Do you want to help us take it down, Arasaka?
I do. I probably would use different methods than Johnny, though.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let's do
They're
it.
horrible corporations.
So thank you all for listening to episode 78. Look at us. We're caught up. We're back on the timeline. So we'll be back with 83. You'll see 79, but we're going to be recording 83 next. But thank you, BCTV, for allowing us to do this production. If you have any comments or questions or concerns, where can they contact us?
You can email us at sharediscoveryshow@gmail.com.
Yeah, please do tell us your experiences with the game before and after, your favorite aspects of the game. And, make sure to check us out on YouTube, because we have really cool visuals that we've been working on, and we have D&D gameplay.
You're welcome, by the way. I took these screenshots myself.
Love the green screen.
So it's so good.
But that wraps it up. So thank you all for joining us in episode 78 of Shared Discovery. As we close, please make sure to have some fun, Get some cybernetics if you want them. Play some games. Be nice to each other. And sign us out.
Don't blow up a building.
Bye.